Oh, so crazy when you burn in hell forever, 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 forever. Oh, so crazy when you burn in hell forever, 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 forever. Boulevard.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blvd Bullies versus the world. I am your host, coming at you from a 2004-year-old webcam. 2004 years old, PK with the Blvd Bullies, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Brian, Bad Take, Bry, the merch guy, and ringside Sean. What's up, fellas? Holiday party. It's the Blvd Bullies holiday party, y'all. Woo!
You took off the hat already, Sean.
You're right. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. It's the second night. Second night of Hanukkah.
How was your first night?
It was whack, dude. I went to go look for a menorah, and there was not one in town.
Couldn't even find a menorah.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Huh.
Where does one go find a menorah? I've never seen a menorah on a shelf.
I would think that there would be like a little section in like CVS. There would be like a little section.
Little menorah section.
A little section, you know? With like a like decorations and shit, or like dreidels. Nothing. Not a dreidel or a menorah in sight.
Maybe they heard that you were coming, and they've heard all the things that you said on this stream about Judaism.
They were hiding it from me.
Yeah, they saw you coming from a mile away. They're like, don't give the Hanukkah holiday presents to the infidel.
The Hanukkah hater.
I didn't see one motherfucker. I didn't even see like the tags where it would say like what used to be there. Nothing. Nothing. No appreciation.
Brian, do you have the sound on your phone?
I do. I just muted it. Sorry.
That's okay. I was just wondering. Brian, you finished last week's episode after cursing all organized religion and cursing everything, including the Jews.
Right.
And then I tried to give you an out, because you've said things about Goldberg on this show. You've said things about the Jewish community on this show. And I tried to give you an out and say like, oh, ha, ha, ha. But Brian, you are Jewish, right? And you were like, yeah, kind of, maybe.
Right.
So it's like I want to correct that, because if you're going to, we've already asked you to not say outlandish anti-Semitic things on this show, and you refuse not to. So I'm just going to try to take the next step and at least protect you from that by proving your Judaism. Because your last name is Ginsburg, but maybe now, after all your crazy comments, maybe people just think that that's an alias.
They don't even think it's my real name.
Right. Nope. That's what I'm thinking.
It is my real name.
What are the origins of the Ginsburgs?
Yeah, maybe you should tell us a little bit about the Ginsburgs.
Oh, well, now you have to, what do you ask me for my like ancestral family tree here?
No. This is not 23andMe.
I wish I had that.
So what do you know of your family that makes you, Jewish?
Well, my grandfather was from Poland.
From Poland?
I actually have family that was in the Holocaust.
I remember you said that. You also said that there was a book?
There is a book. There's a book that exists that is written.
And the name of this book?
Wait, what kind of book?
A book of my relatives' experience in the Holocaust.
Wow.
So your ancestors wrote a book about their experience in the Holocaust, and you still support Kanye West.
I don't support Kanye West.
Oh, okay. All right. Because some people weren't sure.
Kanye West loves Jesus. Let's not get into it.
Yeah, we're not talking about Jesus. We're talking about you being Jewish.
Yeah. Do you have the book? Did you buy a copy?
My father has a copy of the book. I think you could probably find it.
Now, if our fans out there wanna see, or
I'll bring next episode.
What's the name of the book?
If God Were Night.
If God Were Night. Now, it's like the Dark Knight, Knight,
or is Night? It's Night, like
M. Night Shyamalan.
Like night, like Darkest Night.
Okay. We're gonna be sure to read that. I hope there's an audio book.
I can probably I don't know, I'm not sure, but I'll make it a thing to get the book. I'll bring the book onto the show. I'm gonna get the book.
You should.
All seriousness aside, I am very interested to read it.
It's actually it's obviously not very happy book.
No, of course not. It's a very unfortunate time.
He lived to write it, which is sick.
Well, I think that next week you need to show this book. You need to brandish this book and maybe a yarmulke, because
I actually have a yarmulke, dude.
Really? Because I've been getting emails from YouTube.
You want me to wear it?
Is that where you keep it? Just
the yarmulke for the entire episode.
Well, you wear the yarmulke, Sean. You wear the Santa hat.
Sure.
Now it's officially a holiday party. All right.
It's gonna be
Ready,
difficult.
Brian?
Yes, what's up?
3,
Shout out
2,
to
I'm
the
1.
wearing a headset.
holiday party.
There you go.
See, now, Brian, if you're wearing the yarmulke, now you could say all the outlandish things you want to say about Judaism. And, Sean, you could call Santa fat if you'd like.
Santa's fat.
Santa doesn't exist.
It's a holiday party. My what's up? Shout out to the chat. Logan Stein, Urka, Pork Chop Express, Bren. Pat's camera comes with an AOL disc and Windows 95.
Wow.
Yeah, listen, dude.
That's a good one.
And last week you guys said that I was too red, so I went into the settings of the webcam.
Now you're closer to like the color of your microphone.
Now I'm pink.
Now you're pinkish. Yeah.
Now I'm pink. Yeah, it hasn't been an easy week. I've been trying to. I don't know what happened to the camera. I'm just gonna assume that Steve broke it at the studio.
I
But
thought you
thank you.
didn't bring it to the studio.
We did bring
I
it.
thought you.
The
I thought you-
following week is when it stopped working.
Oh Jesus.
So shout out to the chat. Thanks for dealing with my horrible camera and our horrible takes. As always, super chats will, in fact.
Let's Merry Christmas super chat so we could get a new
Happy Hanukkah. Don't forget.
Why not?
Don't forget now.
Why not?
Super chats redirect the conversation. Also, a new super chat feature because I think next week we need to do our end of year awards. I'm currently compiling some categories for the end of year awards next week. So if you have an end of year award category that you would like to submit to us and get our opinions on, please go ahead and drop it in the super chat. I'll be taking notes on that right here.
I have a question. Are we gonna have a outtake moment video for our fans out there? Because let's be honest, they enjoy us. They love us. They're here every week. And they enjoy our outlandish behavior. And I think we should maybe put a little video together celebrating the year of the bullies.
Like a super cut of Brian's anti-Semitic comments, or
That, my face
No,
getting
you say
smashed.
that, but
with
I've
some
really
tape.
never said anything really anti-Semitic. I've just called people bad Jews
Are they really bad Jews, though?
in some people's eyes.
Well, you know what,
They're
Brian?
as-
You can say that now.
they're
Brian,
as
you got
bad
the-
Jews as Brian is vegetarian.
Yep.
I
Brian
no
loves the
longer
meat.
I no longer claim that. So I'm a meat man.
You're a meat man through and
The
through.
meat man.
Man
Now,
of the
are you
meats.
eating what do you call it? With the are you eating kosher meats or non-kosher meats?
I try to buy better meats. I don't know if it's kosher per se, but I'm definitely buying like the caged free chickens and the free range chicken shit. You know,
What
It's
is
more
free
expensive.
range? The free
Free-
range, they allow the chickens to run?
They roam. There's no cage. They're not cooped up. They're not in a coop.
They
They're
run
not in a
free.
chicken coop. Right.
Free until what point? Because eventually they do have to go back.
They don't go back. They kill. They
still get murdered,
slaughter.
yeah.
They slaughter.
That's a shame.
But I
Okay.
feel like they're it's more like the Wagyu. Like they treat them better.
That's what I'm getting
better
Brian
free.
for a wedding gift is Wagyu beef.
It's a highly acceptable present.
Yeah, Wagyu beef just in a wrapped in a newspaper.
That's some like Japanese butcher stuff right there. That's like $100 a steak.
Sometimes it might be more expensive depending on how much you get.
Well, you're not getting more than $100 worth of steak, that's for sure. You're gonna get the low end. You're gonna get the McDonald's Wagyu.
McDonald's Wagyu.
Yeah, like McDonald's Wagyu Big Mac beef. Yo, have you guys seen the Simpsons episode where they think that, like, they see an asteroid that's going to hit the Earth? So, like, all the people in town are doing things that they never wanted to do before because it's like, oh, you only have like a week to live because this asteroid is going to completely destroy Springfield. And Homer's like, no, it's going to burn out when it's re-entering the Earth's atmosphere and it's going to wind up being the size of a chihuahua's head. And then at the very end of the episode, that's exactly what happens. And like really like the scientists like Professor Frink and Lisa are just like, wow, scarier than anything happened during this episode.
Oh,
What is happening? Oh my God. Urka.
Holidays are just a great time. Urka, we love you. Happy holidays.
$20 with the super chat. Thank you. We
Feeling
appreciate you.
juicy. I'm feeling juicy as fuck, bro.
Brian is feeling very juicy. He's overcompensating for the lack of juiciness that he had last week. Thank you for that $20. Every single dollar will go towards repairing the webcam. So if you want me to feel a little bit better and look a little bit crisper,
Not pink, not red,
not
but very much
not
like
red.
himself.
Next week, who knows what color I'll be.
Purple, I think.
But anyway, just like that Simpsons episode where all the townspeople are really more afraid that Homer was right, the scariest thing happened this week. Brian was just inexplicably right on the money about Mandy Rose.
127%.
Dude, 127.8%, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't think I said anything rude about the industry of that industry. Or just that that specific genre of things, just like OnlyFans in general. It's not like a bad thing.
Well,
I just think that it's not fair for her to be able to do it while other people are not.
Well,
right.
You are right on the money, Brian, because as soon as we brought up Mandy Rose last week, you mentioned Mandy Rose porn floating about the internet. And I didn't know if anybody knew about it, so I just figured, okay, she's in the pool with her nipples out. We don't need to talk about that. That's fine, whatever. But apparently, whole world talking about it now. Whole entire world. You mentioned it on Tuesday, Brian, and then she got fired on Wednesday.
Dude, she lost. We didn't She literally lost the belt that night on NXT.
As soon as we were finished speaking about it, she lost the belt. Maybe 20 minutes later.
Do you think just like Masada watched Mittens badmouth him on the show and then threatened to drive 45 minutes to kick his ass? Do you think that somebody at WWE was watching the show and heard
Shawn
Brian
Michaels
mention
himself.
the Mandy Rose porn and then looked it up and then she got fired within 24 hours of our broadcasting?
It's very possible. Very possible that HBK himself was watching our show and heard it.
Oh my God. I feel like, and the entire wrestling community is on your side, Brian. You and Mandy Rose standing together in solidarity. Free the nipple.
But I mean, there's definitely people that support her, but I understand what they're supporting, but I still don't she shouldn't be allowed to do it. Maybe they shouldn't have fired her. They could say, stop doing that, please.
Maybe a talking to.
Right. Firing is a little excessive. They could have just taken the belt away or done a punishment. People get punished. They don't just get fired.
Well, it was definitely very egregious. She lost the belt and got fired the next day. It was
they were responsible for letting Shawn Michaels know who it was.
Yeah, they were in red alert mode. This reeks of a corporate. Somebody sent an email.
It was Matt Bourne, Albert, who alerted the officials and was like, "Hey, you know what? She's doing X, Y, and Z on this, this page."
That's the ironic part because Matt Bourne is the most well-documented piece of shit in that building, and he's running. What a stooge, dude!
Well, that's the whole thing. They're getting. It's the double standard where there's they hire the pieces of shit, but they fire Mandy Rose for fucking
right. So Matt Riddle goes to rehab for 6 weeks. And comes back.
Did you see that? That's not even 100% accurate.
Oh well, Riddle came out and said that it's not even accurate.
You don't even hear from the actual people. It's always somebody else saying something. It's
you think just because they all have just like sports or politics, they all have their reporters that they leak their stuff to.
No, they have to.
No idea, bro. It's so weird that it's always secondhand information, and it's annoying.
So now the rumor going around is that Matt Riddle is now in rehab.
I thought the rumor was that it was about the divorce. Wasn't it about a divorce?
That's what he's saying. And then the chick he was dating from XPW, that she's the
barbed wire nipples.
Yeah.
The barbed wire nips.
She went and put out something basically that Riddle just stopped messing with her and got with her coworker.
Good for him.
Who's also in that industry.
God bless him.
And
another
she spilled the tea and said, well, I was expecting to spend the holidays and the New Year with my, significant other. It turns out he'd rather be with my coworker. And it also turns out that he's in rehab. So it's oh. There's a lot of speculating going around. We're not sure if it's the exact truth, but, there's something going around that's not good.
One thing's for sure, Matt Riddle is an animal.
Yeah, he's a beast right now.
He's just out here.
He's just living, dude. He's living. La vida loca.
So back to Mandy Rose. Basically, that's what the narrative is. Every single thing I've seen on Twitter is basically pro Mandy anti-WWE. People are posting clips from 20 years ago of Triple H getting a woman to flash her breasts on Raw and saying like, "Oh, this is the guy who fired her."
The girls were in Playboy. It was
Well,
they were fully nude in Playboy.
First of all, I just want to say that
Sable.
I'm
Sable.
all for
More
free the
than just
nipple,
Sable.
but you know, I think that right off the bat, anything that happened 20 years ago, any kind of Attitude Era standard, you can't really put that in this conversation in a fair way because, you know, just like anything over 20 years, things change, you know? So anything like with like, oh, well, Triple H was swinging his cock around or like, you know, the Attitude Era, there was the bikini you can't really apply that to this situation because it is 20 years later. They're a publicly traded company. They're trying to like get in with Disney and stuff like that. So to me, this reeks of a big corporation that somebody told somebody who told somebody who told somebody, and the person who did the firing probably didn't even see the pictures in question.
Yep.
You know, and because they're not really that bad.
No, you know what's really messed up is that they made it seem as if it was actual porn. You know what I'm saying?
It's
right.
not. She's doing softcore porn with her boyfriend. There's egregious acts.
Wait,
but
so
it's not the actual act of, you know what I'm saying?
There's no penetration, but there's there's rubbing and fucking.
So there's rubbing. See, I haven't seen any rubbing.
Yeah,
all
he's
I
like
saw
smacking
was...
her. She's like on top of him. She's like playing with her butt.
Huh.
It's fucking softcore porn, dude. That's like she's making money doing softcore porn. It's not a terrible thing.
I understand what you're saying. You're right about that. No, I get it. What I'm just saying is that, like, I get what they're saying, but it's not like she actually, like, went on video and, like, you know.
Is it possible that, like, the USA Network or one of the advertisers or maybe Peacock, NBC, or one of these, like, bigger conglomerates, like, also caught wind of it and were like, yo, you gotta get this. This is unacceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it was so easy for us fans to see it, it's just as easy. If anything, they probably see it first and know of it first. So that's definitely just.
So you think maybe the Matt Bourne like story is like a false thing? Maybe the Matt Bourne story is just like he's taken the fall for it because they can't come out and say like, oh, NBC wants her fired. Because then that like makes NBC seem like closed-minded and too conservative or whatever. So they're just like, hey, NBC, USA Network, whatever, don't worry, we're going to handle this. They quickly fire her, and then they make a story about Matt Bourne, who's a stooge, who's a company man. Oh, Matt Bourne blew the whistle. Because Matt Bourne don't give a shit. Matt Bourne's like, fuck it, I'll take the fall. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe it's something like that. You know, maybe it's fucking, it could be anybody. It could be Snickers. You know, like, oh, Snickers is fucking sponsoring the next thing, and they're pissed, you know.
Or Cricket.
I think
Wireless.
it's
I don't even think Mandy Rose gives a shit. I heard that she makes so much money, like more money that she was making.
Right,
wrestling.
She was making more money on Brand Army.
I mean, since her release, she's made $500,000.
Well, you know what? I heard that it used to be $30 a month, and since the release, it went to $40 a month. Like the next day, $40 a month.
You see, I mean that's fair.
Oh, did I say Matt Bourne? I meant Matt Bloom. Yeah.
I was like, in my head, I was like, doink.
I wish you were never Matt Bourne. So I don't know, Sean, where do you
breached her contract or something by doing what all the wrestlers were recently told not to do? It was a recent thing where the wrestlers were told not to.
Didn't they like let up on that? After Vince left, didn't they come off of the Twitch thing?
Yep.
I haven't seen you don't hear about wrestlers streaming.
Dakota streams.
Oh, but maybe I guess I'm not too privy to that. But the last I remember that it was banned. They banned.
They're all good to go. They all do their own thing. You got what's his name? Xavier Woods streams heavily. He streams with Tyler Breeze.
But Up, Down, Down is definitely owned by WWE at this point.
Right. There's some kind of in their contract. Maybe Dakota Kai maybe has a streaming in her contract.
Yeah, being that she's signed the Triple H era.
If it's in her contract, that makes sense.
Do you think that they're going to turn it? Well, and also, you know, I don't think there's a problem with what Mandy Rose was doing. I mean, maybe it is a little bit gratuitous for somebody who's like the champion of NXT. It's a little bit like shocking or whatever. But you know, like they said, there's like a bunch of other bad dudes, you know, like it's like, you know, it almost becomes like, do they want to fire you or don't they? Because like Enzo,
firing is extreme. It was like, why did they fire her and not
it did
suspend
seem
her?
a little. Well, maybe she was already on the shit list. Maybe they were looking for a reason.
I think this is just a case of, listen, this was something that was taken to this extent. Unfortunately, we have to part ways for the time being. This does not mean that we're not going to touch base with you in the next month or two. We will be back together, but just for now, we have to release you because of the company.
But dude,
I think that's the route they're going.
And because it already came out that they're thinking about bringing her back. It's already out that because I'm sure that they fired her, saw the shitstorm, and now are wondering maybe they made a mistake.
Right.
But you know, if I was Mandy Rose, I'd be like, nah, fuck y'all. You know, that's such a bad tactic. That's such a bad business tactic. Like WWE's like, oh well, we gotta fire you for right now, but you know, we'll bring you back. Like Mandy Rose, like, dude, I'm making 30 G's a month, showing my nips in the water.
Right.
You know, I don't need to be taking bumps. You know, whatever.
Taking my nips to the water.
And she was the champion. She was still she was working. It's like it's not like she wasn't.
She actually, she's one of the most improved wrestlers that I've ever seen. Yeah. Like in a way, like I'm not even joking. Like she actually learned how to work. Like she found her niche in the ring, and she worked with it, and it was good. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And Larry, what's up in the chat says someone must have had it out for her, and that's kind of how I agree too. And you know what? Honestly, we're talking about next week how we're gonna do end of year awards. You could put Mandy Rose in a few different categories. Most improved. But you could even put her in best women's wrestler of the year even.
Yeah.
Because she really did
I mean, we don't really watch NXT though. I can't think of any
Mandy but
Rose
we watch
matches.
the clips and
we've known where she's come from.
Right.
She was the blonde bombshell that was just showing up and was icon candy on TV and doing sex scenes on Monday Night Raw with Jimmy Uso.
Right.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
she's come from that to actually being a champion in the ring and wrestling.
And even though we don't watch NXT like that, I think in the modern era, any champion of any gender on any show that's champion for over 400, over 300 days, that's like a pretty legendary run in the modern era.
It is.
So we're celebrating when Roman passed 450, 500, we were all sucking him off. And Mandy Rose did that, really reinvented herself. And she got over the other two women who she was leading. Mm-hmm. You know, they got themselves over too. But, you know, the Mandy Rose effect, you know, she definitely is kind of a player. You can't say that she's not.
Right. No, those girls are kind of lost in the sauce now without their leader.
No, they're actually, I think they can hold their own.
It kind of, I mean, it just sucks. It just sucks for them because they were hot. That was like a popular thing, you know?
Yeah, but that's the thing
just
left them
one.
Yo, you know what's
to the next,
you know what's crazy? Her fiance is Tino Sabatoli.
Yep. He was an NXT guy.
Who's but he's considered the biggest NXT flop of all time, dude.
Is he?
Yeah, he was. There was man, I forget what I was watching.
That's Mandy Rose's boyfriend.
Yeah, but he was what was
now he makes mad money with her fucking OnlyFans, or whatever it is.
And you know what else? Actually, you think about the Otis Mandy Rose romance. If Pandemic didn't hit, that might have been the best storyline of the year that year too. They had some Sami Zayn magic in there, so she could have gotten to the next level with Otis even.
Otis wasn't as hot as Sami Zayn is.
Well, no, because
the same effect with the magic where
I guess no. I guess yeah.
You want to see it.
Yeah, you know it's the odd couple
you
magic.
Otis to, yeah. I feel you.
Yeah, but so she was on the precipice of that. Pandemic hits, blah blah blah, something yada yada yada. Now she's NXT. She's got brown hair. She's doing great. Shows her nips. Now she's fired.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, and she might not come back. They might have pissed her off enough where she just won't come back.
She doesn't have to, dude. I don't think she has to come back if she doesn't want to.
What do you think about Sean? What do you think about Mandy and AEW showing up?
I think it's possible, and I think if they do throw that at her, they're going to throw a bag at her. So she's going to get hit with a big payday. And I honestly don't see anybody turning that down, especially if they could continue doing what they do.
Imagine her and Sasha Banks go.
She can keep doing what she's doing. Easier schedule, less restrictions, And maybe her boy Tito Sabatelli gets freaking Sabatone. Maybe he gets hired or something. Yeah, it's interesting. And, the discussion is interesting, too, because, maybe if WWE didn't have a long history of being, like, the worst, maybe there'd be more people who would understand. Because, from a business, you could understand. I worked at Verizon, and one of my managers, like, we had a bunch of horrible people walk into the store, like homeless people and just the craziest people.
Right.
I don't even mean to put down the homeless, just crazy people with homes walking into the store. And like one guy had like a Lita, he was like bending over to look for a phone, and he had like a lime green like Lita thong. All right. So he had like purposely like a stomach shirt. And then like he was like bending over to like look at one of the phones on like the lower shelves, and he had like a lime green thong. So one of my managers took a picture, posted it on her Facebook. It was like, another day at Verizon. Fired. Boom. No questions asked, dude. Yep.
Can't do that shit, bro.
They're like, yo, you violated the fucking code of conduct. It's just a no questions asked, no hearing, no warning. You can't be posting customers' thongs on your Facebook.
Right.
And that scenario was the same. Like somebody who she was moving up faster than blew the whistle and banked it in like brownie points. So that kind of shit happens. Like in our minds, that seems so ridiculous. Like, oh, that's too insane. Like nobody's that much of a ladder climbing socialite dickhead. But no, like a lot of people are,
Facts.
So who knows? If I were her, I'd keep taking showers on OnlyFans and never look back.
Making money, man. Smart.
Yeah,
pool in the nipple. Nipples in the pool.
Coming up this fall.
Free the nipple.
Free the nipple. And you know who else is never coming back?
Who?
Sasha Banks.
Where's she going?
Dude.
Anywhere but WWE, apparently, dude.
She wants to get paid like Becky and who was it? Charlotte, she said?
She wants to get paid like Stone Cold, dude.
Right, she wants to get paid like the boys.
Yeah, apparently her contract was like the money that she wanted from them is like top 5 money. And they're like, sorry, we can't give you top 5 money. So I guess she's getting like a small percentage of that just for one match, which is probably astronomical. And it's looking more and more. We talked about this last week too. We're always a week ahead. It's looking more and more like Sasha Banks is going to fight Kairi Sane at Wrestle Kingdom. Yo, it's Sasha Banks. She's moving to Japan.
Wow.
She's moving there.
I wonder if her husband still works for the WWE.
Isn't he like a seamster?
Yeah, he's a seamstress over there. Seamster, excuse me.
Yeah, I just made that up. Is that a male seamstress? A seamster?
No, that seems accurate.
It seems like it would be accurate.
Yeah, so I know he works there. So, best to her. Best to him.
Supposedly,
that doesn't really matter. There's a bunch of people that work in WWE and their significant others work with other companies.
Adam, what's up? Supposedly, $100,000 a shot for 10 shots this year. So, I mean, think about it. If she was doing, and I said this last week, if she was doing $20,000 for a signing. Somewhere in Georgia or something. What was it? It was Chicago Comic-Con or something, Chicago Fan Expo or something, right? So she's doing $20,000 for that. She's probably doing $100,000 for a match. I could see that. That kind of makes sense to me.
That's insane.
She's about to get the bag.
I think it'd be awesome to see her
if she's in WWE. Wouldn't it be? Is it per match or you don't get contracts? Isn't it like contractual?
Well, no. She's going to be in New Japan, and they're probably going to pay her on a match by match basis. Probably.
Yep, she's a big name.
Understood.
In that way, she could do a match every 3 months in New Japan. She could fly around and still be a celebrity. Go to all these fashion shows and Mandalorians, and maybe she gets her own Mandalorian spinoff. And think about it. John Cena quits wrestling, films Fast and Furious. Where does he go to promote? All over the world. China, Japan, India. So like Sasha Banks just wrestling in Japan increases her, international. Like she might be on the path to become the female The Rock.
I was just about to say that. I literally was just about to say that. That's wild. Think about it. The Rock was only in WWE for 6 years.
Yeah, his career is short.
Before he went to go film The Mummy Returns. And then, before you know it, he's filming The Scorpion King. Then he's filming movies like Walking Tall. Sasha Banks, what did she do? She went and she started filming for Disney Plus Star Wars, The Mandalorian. Then, now you see her again. Guess what? She's walking the red carpet at the Wakanda premiere. Before you know it, she's going to be in one of these movies. She's wrestling Wrestle Kingdom. She's taking her career into her hands, and she's doing what she wants to do. She's worth every dime that she says she's worth. She's entertaining.
Logically and mathematically speaking, I disagree with you. But in today's climate and the way that media is consumed and, who people get behind, Sean, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, that's what I base it off of.
Dude, and she has sorry, she'll keep going.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just saying, like, her wrestling career alone is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, she's done so much already. Think of any legendary wrestling, women's wrestling match, she was a part of it. 100%.
Of the modern
but
era.
just still objectively speaking, she's not good.
But to who?
Me.
But I would say she is definitely one of the better female.
But then that's also like saying, yo, let's be honest right now. Is a Hogan match from back in the day really entertaining? Are we enjoying the man that is Hulk Hogan that's revving me up with his "Can I hear you?" and dropping the leg? Like, wrestling is really about what you bring as a character. The physique, the look, the music, what you do in the ring is different. But if you can find your way to make yourself that household name, you're made for life. And I think she's made for life.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Because like Charlotte's been off TV.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody online seems to really care. All these people are going through all these different things, but like the outcry, like Sasha Banks is almost CM Punk level. We want her back. It's like if she never returns to wrestling, I feel like 7 years from now, you'll still see people online going, "We want a Sasha Banks match," So I guess you're right. Like, I personally don't get it, don't agree with it, but I'm old. So I got to keep reminding myself, I love wrestling. I love wrestling. I love wrestling. So, for the average fan, yeah, it's probably, and it would be a huge deal for her to wrestle in New Japan. I could kind of see it now, dude.
I think it's bigger than her showing up in AAA. Because let's face it, she is in love with the luchador style of wrestling, right? And you see it every time she goes in the ring. She incorporates a lot of the lucha style to how she wrestles.
Eddie Guerrero's her
it's her idol.
Hero, right?
She's even gone on to train with the Juice, with Hoovy in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
that was recent too.
Yeah, so she goes towards that. So you think she'd wind up in a AAA show? No. Her name is being associated with the second largest wrestling show of the year, which is Wrestle Kingdom. You got WrestleMania and you got Wrestle Kingdom. And it wasn't always like that, but now it's like that. Since you had the likes of Chris Jericho main eventing, you have people like Jim Ross going over there to commentate. It's become an event that a lot of people keep their eyes on. And us being on the opposite side of the world, a lot of people stay up super duper late, up into the early morning hours of the morning to watch it. Who's to say not? You know what I'm saying? There's diehard fans over here that want to see her wrestle, that are going to see her wrestle, and they're going to pay whatever pay-per-view price that New Japan goes and puts out. It's like Austin coming back. Everybody flew to Texas. You know what I'm saying?
Is that the same event that Shinsuke is wrestling?
Say that again?
The same event that Shinsuke Nakamura is wrestling?
No, he's wrestling Noah. New Year's Day.
Gotcha.
I believe it's New Year's Day.
Yo, I could totally see, and I mean, I'm saying this like it's a not already a foregone conclusion, which I think it is. But, New Japan partnered with Stardom to have an IWGP women's title. The first champion at the first Wrestle Kingdom. Let's pay $100,000. Let's bring in Sasha Banks. Let's make a splash. It makes sense.
It's a way for them to continue their dominance in LA. Right now, the LA dojo is no pun intended, is strong. Is New Japan strong, and they want to continue it. I've been seeing a lot on YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube wrestling, and one thing that always pops up is the show in the Garden, the Super Card of Honor. They want to carry another show of that caliber. And what do you need in order to come over to the United States to do that? You need American talent. You need talent that's from this region, this area. So what do? You go and you grab the hottest free agent out.
The hottest. Banks. Yep, you're right.
You can't grab Cena. Cena's loyal. He's coming back this Friday to have that one match.
Oh, dude, I am so excied on that. We'll get to WWE and SmackDown in a minute. I am so hyped for that match. And I see Larry in the chat. He says that Y2J touting his deal was a lot bigger than people think it was. Larry, I don't know if you're talking about the Y2J New Japan money that he got, or if you're talking about what Chris Jericho did this past Wednesday. Either way, both things happened. Jericho went on his podcast because somebody was saying that Sasha's going to get more money than Jericho to go to New Japan. And he immediately came out and was like, well, I mean, technically on the dotted line, maybe, but, I had a lot of incentives and it was worth a lot more money than you think it was. Jericho can't let somebody else win even for 1 second. He can't fucking help himself. And then we'll get to this later with the AEW review, but, he's making such a big deal out of Action Andretti and how he made the kid's career and how he's the new Razor Ramon putting over 1-2-3 Kid. I'm not too sure about that. But one thing is for sure, that Jericho will always overinflate what he's doing or what he got paid. So I don't think you could really take that as a, gospel, let's just say. I don't even know one other match on Wrestle Kingdom. Do you guys?
Okada and Jay White. I know Muda's wrestling in a 6-man. I don't know with who though. Yeah, not too sure. My brother actually sent me the card and it actually looked pretty good. Let me see if I could pull it up.
In the meantime, is Sasha Banks very short? Yes, but you know who else is very, very, very short?
Who?
Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi.
I got it. You ready?
Dude, that soccer game was insane.
Did you watch it, Brian?
I don't watch sports ever, but that was actually quite exciting.
Watching a new sport is like playing a new video game,
I can't see all soccer games, but that was the two best teams in the whole entire world having a game where they cared very much. So that was
and what a game!
Soccer games are probably that crazy.
What a game it was!
Oh yeah, it was insane.
And you know what? I just want to send a quick shout out to my girlfriend who on November 20th told me that Argentina was going to win, and we put money on Argentina.
Nice.
To win.
That's legit.
So, what a game.
That one guy in France that scored all their goals was making me really hype. Mbop.
Yo, that guy was like a machine.
Holy shit, dude. That guy's like a hero now.
Well, you know what's crazy? Messi is 5'7", and that guy's 6'3".
Really?
So they were standing next to each other, and it's oh my God, this is legitimately David versus Goliath. And that guy, Mboubi, he scored all 3 goals for France.
And their first penalty kick. Their first.
Yo, and his style, and it's so fun. Like I said, watching soccer this year, it was like getting into a new video game. You don't know anything about it, but you learn about the characters. You learn about the systems and the strategies.
Confusing. It's definitely a confusing game. I don't really understand the whole time system, how the time just keeps going.
But dude, this guy Mboubi, he was strong. He would kick the ball so hard, the goalie would hit it with his hand. It would just go past his hand into the goal. But then Messi is like mad slick with it.
Calm. He's like calm as fuck.
Yeah, he'll
like,
go. He has like the autism stroke, dude. He's like acting like he's lost, and all of a sudden he just kicks it into high gear. Or sometimes he'll go like too slow. You know, the one guy was kicking it through people. Messi was just like going mad slow, kicking it.
Yeah, like relaxed, like super chill.
Dude, that was so awesome. So, and you know, I want to get to the. Oh, Sean, tell me the research that you pulled up here.
Are you ready? We have the first match being Riho Oiwa versus Oleg Boltin.
Is that the Riho that I know?
No.
Oh, shoot.
It is the next one is the New Japan Rumble and the right to advance to the King of Pro Wrestling 2023. And then there's a whole bunch of people that didn't say. Then you have the Antonio Inoki Memorial 6-man tag match with Togi Makabe, Satoshi Kojima, Yuji Nagata versus Tatsumi Fujinami, Minoru Suzuki, and Tiger Mask 4. Then you have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. This will be the start of the main card. And that would be TJP and Francisco Akira versus Leo Rush and Yo. Then you have the IWGP Women's Championship match with Kairi taking on Tam Nakano. So it seems as if a match has already been set. That doesn't mean that she won't be there the very next day, because the very next day is a big match too. And we have the IWGP Tag Team Championship match. The champions, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, taking on Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. And we have the NJPW World TV Championship with Ren Narita taking on Zack Sabre Jr. Then the Never Open Heavyweight Championship match, Carl Anderson, WWE's Carl Anderson, who is the champion, taking on Tama Tonga. This will be Carl Anderson's second match back in Japan since being signed to the WWE. Keiji Muta, the New Japan Pro Wrestling last match. Keiji Muta, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Shota Umino versus Tetsuya Naito, Bushi, and Sanada. Then you have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match as a four-way match with Taiji Ishimori versus Hiromi Takahashi, El Desperado versus Master Wato. Then the co-main event, which is for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship match, is Will Ospreay, the champion, taking on the challenger, Kenny Omega. Then
oh my God,
I'm
so bored.
I'm not going to watch any.
I'm so fucking bored.
Then the main event is Jay White taking on Koshikushka Okada.
You know, two things that jump out at me. I don't want to spend too much time on New Japan, but let me ask you this, Brian, first. Do you think that FTR are going to lose the titles?
They've been on that route lately, right? They've been losing all their belts.
See, that's the problem with putting all these titles on these guys. They eventually got to lose all of them. Go back to normal life. What about you, Sean?
I see them losing them.
I think they're on their way home.
So they're going to lose all the belts and then win the AEW belts?
No, I think they're going. I think eventually they're on their way out of AEW and back to the WWE.
Interesting.
I think a lot of people are talking under the sheets, and it's like, okay, just wait, and we'll do what we have to do. They know where home is. Eventually, every dog winds up home when it runs away.
And you know what? I don't really blame any of these guys, and it seems like Tony Khan doesn't really either. It's like, hey, when
business is business.
See, but dude, Vince being in charge of things and then all of a sudden not being in charge of things really changed the landscape. Because all these dudes were like, well, anything guaranteed money is better than WWE. Fuck this. And now Triple H is like, hey, come on back. It'd be so sick, dude. It'd be so sick if, like, Vince has been talking about how he got bad advice and he's still the majority shareholder by like 80%. And maybe he needs to come back and be CEO. It'd be so sick if all these dudes came back and then Vince came into power again. And they were all like, so like FTR comes back, and before you even see them back on TV, they're wearing like those jester outfits that were like, you remember the concept art of their jester outfits?
Yep.
Yo, the first time you see FTR back on WWE TV, they're wearing the jester outfits because Vince McMahon is back.
Same day they get back, he gets back. That'll be wild. But unfortunately, I do think they're going to lose, and I think eventually they're going to wind up back where they started their illustrious career, which is the WWE.
I mean, I would find that extremely interesting, and it's almost like all these guys came into AEW saying, wow, Tony Khan is such a nice guy. He's such a nice person. I'm going to be a nice person too. And then they spend like a few months there. And then it's like, you know what? Tony Khan's a nice guy, but fuck this. And he is of low perception. You know, Brian, you know about the Bloodborne RPG stats. You know, Tony Khan, energy, 10.
High energy.
Intellect,
Energy, right?
faith, 10. Faith, 10. Intellect,
10,
2.
Sure.
So it's
Right.
like, you know, William Regal's probably sitting there looking at himself in the mirror going, you know, I don't want to be a bad person, but I'm going to have to be deceitful to get the hell out of here. So I could see FTR saying the same thing, like, oh, hey, guys, thank you so much. It's me, Tony Khan. You want to re-sign? Well, yeah. We'll talk about it when we get there. Let's see what happens if you book us right. So, like, I could see them winning the belts and then leaving 2 months later.
Yeah, I see it like a very brain-busterish situation. Like, the brain busters were only in WWE, well, F at the time, for a very short time. I think it's going to be very similar to that, just in and out. In and out. Win it here, that's it, I'm gone. See you later. I'm off to do something else.
They said Regal's coming back as early as the first week of January.
That's wild.
And
Like,
apparently
in
he's going to
office,
be like a
obviously.
vice president, but like the official title isn't known yet. But they're
There's
basically
a lot of talent scouting going on right now.
Well, and who's to say that Regal won't send a text to Ricky Starks in 6 months or something, you know?
Recruit.
Just interesting. Let me read some of these comments here. Never forget, Jericho was the Grand Wizard of the KKK and Bad Boys 2. Larry, you are
Clerks 3. Clerks.
half
it was,
right.
It was Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
It was the Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yep.
Don't sully Bad Boys 2 like that, dude.
Bad Boys 2 did have KKK, but it wasn't Chris Jericho.
Yeah, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence would never let Chris Jericho in on their project. FTR's deal is up in a few months. As long as there is the slightest possibility of Vince coming back, it hurts FTR's chances of going back to WWE. I don't think Vince is coming back, dude. And you notice, like,
everybody comes back, man.
nah, but Vince, well, the only thing that's a little strange is that Vince is the 80% shareholder. But, you know, as soon as Vince said that he wanted to come back, Wall Street Journal, somebody on the board has Wall Street Journal in their pocket. Because as soon as Vince said that, like, Wall Street Journal reported, oh, hey, on the eve, because it was this time last week, Vice premiered the absolutely terrible documentary.
I didn't even watch it.
It wasn't good. It was basically just like a highlight reel of all the dark side of the ring.
Wow.
They
Whack.
basically took any, like, Vince story from those dark sides of the rings, and they added in, like, new comments from, like, Vince Russo and shit. It wasn't good.
Vince McMahon also wasn't technically fired. He stepped
down.
He left on his own terms.
But
He-
basically,
no one ever told him to go away.
as far as I could figure, the word on the street was that if Vince steps down, the stock's going to plummet. He stepped down, the stock rose, didn't plummet. And now Vince is saying, you see, it all would have blown over, blah, blah, blah. But then as soon as he said that, Wall Street Journal hit him again, saying that the two women were coming out, suing him, and, like, they kind of promoted the Vice doc. So there's definitely some people within WWE that are, like, trying really hard to keep Vince not
Snakes. Snakes in the grass.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like a boardroom political assassination.
It's the same thing with Mandy
Corporate.
Rose.
Yeah, it kind of has the same feeling, yeah?
Yep. It definitely does.
It's a fucking scary machine. That shit.
Yeah, Regal leaving was damning to them. Tony Khan should plan stories about Vince coming back. It hurts them.
I fucking can't stand AEW at all, man.
You hate
like-
it, huh?
It's borderline unwatchable. I'll put it on and then I just like will literally not even care about it.
Yeah, I can't say that, like, how long has it existed? 3 or 4 years? I don't think, I mean, I don't know. There's definitely been more times than not where I'll just have it on. Like, it's just something that's on, but I'm doing something else. Like, I'm invested in something else. Like, it's not it's not
Like,
destination TV for
It's
me.
not even attention grabbing.
No, it really isn't. And, you know, a lot of people say that the MJF segments are the best segments on the show, but I'm kind of over them too now.
I'm over it.
It's like he's kind of like a one-trick pony a little bit.
Did you see what Enzo talked shit
On who?
on MJF?
Saying what?
To him on the mic.
Basically said that he would destroy MJF. I mean, I kind of, dude. Anytime Enzo Amore spoke, it was like magic, dude.
Yeah, well,
He
back
had
when
the
he was in
fucking
his small little window of success, but now anytime Enzo speaks, it's like horrifying.
Well, he doesn't have a big stage. He's on like little tiny funny stages. If you give him a big stage, I think he would still have it. But I'm not sure. Who knows?
Yo, so
But
before we move forward,
in his prime, it was definitely some shit.
before we move forward on our big federation talk, I want to get to the topic that everybody's waiting to hear about, which is how my team did in the fantasy football playoffs.
Bum, 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 bum.
You sound happy, so I'm sure.
Dude, let me just tell you something. Our highest score of the year was 175. In the first round of the playoffs, we scored 165. And next week, we're in the semifinals, so we're in the final four.
What's the team? Are you talking about a specific team, or are you just
Talking about,
yourself?
my fantasy football team.
His fantasy football team. So his fantasy football team.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, Brian, Sean, can you explain to Brian what fantasy football is?
So fantasy football, Brian, is a league that consists of players that you draft
from different teams?
from different teams, and collectively, all together, they make up your fantasy football team. So when the games are being played, you watch to see your players' stats, and that's how basically if you win the game or not. So if your player has a good
So
day,
you add up all your players' stats from the day, and if you have a high number than all your other friends, you win the day.
Yeah, basically, it's like fantasy football for jocks. I mean, it's like Dungeons and Dragons for jocks.
Got it.
that's exactly what it is.
You know, like
Yeah,
a catch is worth 1 point, so you try to pick the receiver who's going to have the most catches. You know,
And
et cetera, et cetera.
is there like an app that like adds up all the things?
There
for
is
you,
an
or you-
app. There is an app that adds up all the things. There's several apps.
So
Right.
back in the day, Yahoo Sports was very big with it.
Yahoo Sports. You got ESPN now. I think CBS does one. But, you know, I just want to say that we worked hard all year. Sometimes the players caught the ball. Sometimes they dropped the ball. But it's important to note that they were always running. Some guys got hurt.
Always running.
Some guys stayed healthy. Other guys didn't even show up. But we were in constant contact with our players. We were constantly doing our research and on the waiver wire. We were inspiring, and we were humble enough to be inspired.
Brian
Some
doesn't-
players who we drafted, they didn't make the cut. Other teams, they dropped players that we picked up, and a change of scenery helped them. And the important thing is that we won our first fantasy football game. And we are moving on to the next week. Very, very important game on Thursday. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the New York Jets. Games on Saturday. Games on Sunday. We worked.
So how many games do you have to win to like participate in like the playoffs? Is there like playoffs and like a final?
It's a 12-team league. The first 6 teams make the playoffs. And the first and second team have a bye. So I was the 4th seed. I played the 2 seed and won.
That's awesome.
And now we are playing the 1 seed. You know Ian from Stifling Neglect?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Ian was my first round playoff matchup. I beat him.
That's awesome.
And
that you play with
who am
him.
I playing next week? His goddamn wife. And I'm going to beat his wife, and their house will fall.
Is he still a cook? Is he still a chef, that guy?
Yes, he is still a cook.
He makes good food.
So the reason I bring this up is because I was doing that all weekend and playing Mass Effect 2. Brian, you were playing High on Life. Is High on
Awesome
Life a good game?
Everybody needs to play it.
it looks like the most. If that game came out when I was a kid during the holidays, my face would be glued to my screen the entire time.
It's literally Conker's Bad Fur Day for this generation, but it's so good, man. It's Rick and the only complaint that I have is that it's not just like called Rick and Morty. Like they should have just called it Rick and Morty.
Well, because the main guy's voice is just Morty's voice, basically.
It is. It's 100%. And is Rick and Morty the same guy? Does the same guy do the voice?
Well, okay, so Rick and Morty has 2 creators, Dan Harmon and fuck, I forget the guy's name, but the guy, it's Dan Harmon and come on, somebody in chat help me out. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. I was thinking about this name, Justin Rowland, right?
And Dan Harmon is the guy that helped create the game.
No, Justin Roiland or whatever. He's the guy who has a bunch of different shows that all sound like Rick and Morty. You know, like Solar Opposites?
Right.
So, like, Dan Harmon is more of like the existential science fiction, trippy storyteller. And then Justin Roiland is more of like the improv, like, I got ants in my eyes, you know, and like all that shit. So right. Justin Roiland is the one who did this game, and he's the one who does all the different Morty's voices, and it's a very like improvisational, weird, sloppy style. It's
so good, man. Leon from Curb Your Enthusiasm is JB Smoove.
Oh, JB Smoove is in it?
He's in it. What's his name? The guy from Hot Tub Time Machine. Craig Robinson.
See, I personally like Dan Harmon's stuff better. I know that Justin Roiland does the voices of Rick and Morty, and a lot of their improvisational stuff is very fun.
It's very science fiction-y, too. The story is just like basically a whole science fiction thing.
I saw the few clips that I saw. I loved it. Sean, what do you got there?
I'm open. I have so many of these Macho Mans that I'm just going to open one right now.
Did you send the Macho Man to our winner?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good, because I was hoping so. That was months ago. Oh, we got an impromptu unboxing.
I love unboxings.
Of a Macho Man.
Speaking of unboxings, we're missing the ICW live sale as we speak.
Are we?
Oh, no, yes, Brian, I'm so sad for you.
Started at 8.
What are you getting, bro? Are you going to get it?
No, I shouldn't even attend it because it's going to fucking spend. I actually purchased a Blvd Bullies shirt.
Brian, I can't believe that you allowed me to guilt trip you. And you know what?
I honestly want it.
I'm glad that I allowed myself. I'm glad that you allowed me to guilt trip you. But the thing is, you forgot some of the details of our conversation. I said, hey, why didn't you order one? I could have given you a deep discount. You just ordered it as a regular civilian.
I don't ask discounts. I don't ask for discounts, bro. I fully support.
Jeez. Now I feel bad.
Good.
Now you made me feel bad. You did a pity sale. By the way, anybody at home who wants to do a pity sale and make me feel bad, I'm okay. I can shoulder that burden. So hit up blvdbullies.bigcartel.com. Right now, the Christmas sweater is on sale. We call that sale's called the I forgot Christmas sale.
Nice.
So what you could do is you could order that sweater for somebody who you work with, or one of your family members who you're not going to see until maybe the new year, or maybe somebody for Christmas Day. And you could say, oh, you know what? It wasn't my fault. It's the Blvd Bullies' fault. There were supply chain issues. And you can blame it on us. Get that hoodie on discount. blvdbullies.bigcartel.com.
Wow.
Smell it. Smell it.
Did you ever see the video of Matt Cardona opening the toy and smelling it like that?
Of course I have. I watch that every morning as a daily affirmation that he's
That's
not
like
cool.
Your alarm.
Smells like wax.
Dude, I love toy. I'm surprised. I mean, you said you had multiple of them, so like opening them is fine.
What was your favorite toy growing up as a kid, Pat?
Man, I mean, I would have to say Lego or wrestling. It had to be wrestling figures, really. The bone-crunching action wrestling figures. The whole run that they had from bone crunching before they made them like Titantron enabled.
Yep.
You know when they like changed the scale of them and they made them more like bendable. I didn't like that.
Remember the ones where they had like the things in their feet where you put them on the stage?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So they changed them. I liked the bone crunching. The bone crunching were my favorite.
Me too.
And then later on, you know, I kind of tried to fuck with like the bigger ones, but like, you know, the scale was all wrong. The proportion was all wrong.
They were
do you remember the pillow ones? Like the ones that you punch?
Oh, yeah.
Was that WCW? That might have been WCW.
No, that was the WWF had them. They were made by Tonka back in the day.
Damn.
And WCW had them made in like '98, and they had DDP, Goldberg, Sting, Macho.
I had the Sting one. I remember having.
I had the Macho Man, and I used to freaking elbow drop him like crazy.
Oh yeah,
man.
I had Ultimate
It's
Warrior.
the exact same one. Ooh yeah.
So Pat, would you say you were Legos over Connects? Did you ever fuck with Connects?
Wow.
No,
did
you know,
have-
when I was like really young, I guess it was like Playmobiles.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
never even fucking heard of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Playmobil was like pre-Connect. I guess it was like a different, like cheaper Lego, I guess.
They were bigger blocks.
Was it like wood?
Nah, they were plastic. They were just bigger pieces.
Never even heard
Yo,
of
what's
that.
up? Shout out Jedi Joe. Thanks for joining us. Jedi Joe sent me a very nice text. Last week was a disaster because the camera stopped working, so I didn't mentally prepare myself for looking like shit. Like this week, I've mentally prepared myself to look like shit, so I'm feeling a little better about it, you know? But last week, it was like within the last 15 minutes, I realized I was just a pixelated boy, AOL 5.0 startup disc looking like motherfucker. And I felt all bad about it. And Joe sent me a text and he goes, hey, great show yesterday. Especially considered what huge marks the other two guys are.
We're marks. We love it.
Because you guys are the best wrestling fans.
We're big
Wow.
fans. Speaking of big fans, there was a big, huge deathmatch weekend that we just
Brian,
that we
that
just got
was
through.
probably transition of the year.
You saw that, dude?
Transition of the year, dude.
I love it.
Let's go.
It's the yarmulke. It's the yarmulke, I think.
Brian is wearing a yarmulke just in case he says anything horribly anti-Semitic. You could just realize that he's Jewish. He's a Jewish guy, and it's fine.
It's all right.
I think I'm gonna make this into a Wolfpack Macho Man.
So both
think
of
I'm-
you guys decided that you were not going to attend my live concert.
Hey, I had business to attend.
I had COVID. I couldn't do anything.
So you did have COVID.
I literally, dude, I think the next day I was negative, but then I tested positive for the first time on Friday.
Well, dude. We both said that you had the fucking COVID.
I didn't at the time. I technically did not.
And
Oh,
but then
you
you
did?
then so on Friday you tested, you realized you had COVID, you went into work anyway.
No, I called out. I on Friday was the first day I didn't work.
Oh,
So you
I thought you didn't have any sick days left.
Dude,
Yeah, COVID.
COVID. If you have COVID, it's beyond 6 days or vacation.
Oh, so you can't
Special.
say that you have COVID
I
to
had-
come to my show?
I had to actually go to urgent care to take the fucking PCR to get it on paper with my name, because they don't just accept the at-home tests
The
anymore.
PCR, the personal COVID records.
Right. You can't just take an at-home test to receive COVID days.
So what'd you tell him? Hi, I'm Brian Ginsberg. I'm here for a test.
I said, "Hi, I'm Brian Ginsberg. I think I got some COVID."
And they were like, wow, you know what, you're right. You got a lot of COVID.
At first, they told me it was negative.
Yeah, you got a whole bunch of COVID.
COVID.
Covert op.
You get it. Yeah, Mr. Ginsburg, yeah, you got a whole shit ton of COVID.
I actually have a test right here. Should we test to see if I'm still negative?
Well, when you were positive on Friday?
Friday was the first day. Today was the fourth. I guess today was the fourth day.
Yes, Brian,
Friday,
could
Saturday,
you
Sunday.
take that home
Just-
COVID
I'll-
test
Let's take
while I ask Sean about his ICW no holds barred experience? And then
it. Oh,
after we
man.
get your test, we'll get your perspective from an at-home viewer. As I said, I was too busy marching step by step, player by player, yard by yard, my fantasy football team to victory. I was indisposed. And you know what? It's only 2 Mondays remaining of football, and then I can start watching Monday Night Raw again. But Sean, tell me about
Yo.
your ICW weekend, please.
Dope, man. It was so much fun. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the Vortex on Friday, which was
Dude,
like
Vortex was sick.
Yeah, it was insane. Crowbar actually wrestled on Friday. Pat, did you know that he wrestled in the chains?
Crowbar in the chains.
Yeah, Crowbar
For the H2O championship.
against Manders.
No shit. So wait, so
Yeah.
Friday the Vortex was ICW and H2O in the chains. That's why they call it the Vortex.
No. Vortex is basically just unannounced matches. It's like all mystery matches.
So it's like a bonus show. Like Saturday is the main draw, but hey, if you're in town and you want to come to this on Friday,
right.
it's
like
a
the
potpourri.
Pit. It was like the pit, right? The potpourri, which was at H2O. It wasn't like an H2O versus ICW. It was just Vortex at H2O.
At the arena.
Right. That was just the location.
So Sean, did you watch? Cool. Did you watch? Brian, you be quiet. You stick that thing up your nose, okay?
All right, it's hard not to talk about it. It was the most exciting part of my whole week.
Sean, did you watch Vortex from at home?
I did from at home. It was dope.
Brian, you got to swab it around 5 times each. Yep.
Oh.
All right, now other nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quarter of an inch up the way.
Oh.
Okay, now you got to put it in the thing. Don't contaminate the stick.
I'm not contaminating the stick, damn it. Now you got to dip it in here. Swish it around.
Yep.
Switch it around a bunch of times, and you gotta take it out.
Yeah, you gotta swirl it around. 30 seconds of swirling.
Then you gotta squeeze it and swirl it.
Yep, squeeze and swirl.
3 times.
How long do you let it sit? 15 minutes?
All right. Well, then you gotta just gotta put it in the little dropper here. Let me throw out this stick.
Dispose of the stick in a sanitary manner. Don't throw it in the pasta bowl.
Not in the pasta. All right, now I'm going to open this test here.
Long story short, just for those asking in the chat, Larry, I had a concert. Ironically enough, I had a concert at the Monarch. And it's funny because Chippy, the guy who's giving Casanova Valentine way too much money, he jogged on over to me like a jolly little Asian man that he is, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I was like, "Oh, I'm at this show. I have a show." But here's the rub. My singer had a stomach virus, so we didn't even play. I was just attending the show.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah, very, very frustrating. Yo, and you know what? Side note, not to be all over the place, but so the band that was headlining, Brian, you'll appreciate this as a band guy, right? So the band that was headlining, it was like their record release show. Mm-hmm. And this band, they all have like $2,000 like ear monitors, like in-ear monitors. And they have they don't run amps. They don't have like heads and cabinets.
Right, it's all like Axe Effects and
right,
shit.
It's all Axe Effects. So they had this huge cabinet that you would basically roll into Madison Square Garden if you were playing Madison Square Garden. So this huge cabinet. They had 3 guitar players, not 2, 3. And you know, one of the guitar players had one of those guitars without the headstock.
Right. One of the Bill and Ted guitars.
Right, so they were all like nu metal. They were like the band of guys with good jobs.
Were they good?
Yo, they were tight, but I'll tell you this. I'm standing there in this room, and it's the side room of Monarch, so it's a little bit smaller, a little bit less, like, you know, technologically advanced. But, and this is why I can't go to shows, because I just start thinking about my own band, you know?
Of course.
And I was just thinking, like, man, all I can hear right now are the drums and the singer. And they had this pedal, the 808 pedal.
Right.
So when like the heavy part of the song would hit, they'd touch this pedal and it would go, the whole place would rattle. It would go, boom. But like they would do that, but then you couldn't even hear the guitars. So it's like they have 3 guitar players, a fucking $10,000 Axe Effects rack. And like you couldn't hear the guitars. And I couldn't help but be like, you know what? If my band played here, we'd have our tube amps and our cabinets, and we would be actually pushing air. You know, we'd be loud as fuck in this place. You know, so they were a good band, but you know, I think they kind of overthought it a little bit. You know, like Axe Effects in a small venue without like your own traveling sound guy, that's like a tough pill to swallow.
Well, you played the Monarch, right?
Right.
Monarch
side
is
room
like
though.
Pretty,
side room.
That's like
not the main room.
There's a side room at the Monarch?
Yeah, and the side room of the Monarch, you know, the main room of the Monarch has like a state-of-the-art system.
Right.
So if they played there, it probably would have been good. Side room of the Monarch has a good system.
Is it called the Meadows?
I don't know. Any good band with actual equipment would sound good in the side room, but it's just they had the Axe Effect. They had like the $10,000 equipment.
Right.
It was like they like I said, they over-tinkered. Anyway, that's it. What were we talking about? before?
I'm waiting for my COVID results and we were
How
talking
long-
about ICW.
Oh yes, please tell me, Sean. Continue to tell me about the Vortex.
Yeah, Vortex was pretty wild. So, like I said, Crowbar wrestled. It was for the H2O Heavyweight Championship. It was against Manders. So it was the first time Crowbar jumped in the chains. Death match world. Never jumping into it. Supposedly he's not a really big fan of it. Did you know that?
Of the death match?
Yeah.
Well, he was like back in the day. He was like a hardcore guy.
He was like Dollar Store Canyon back in the day.
I guess it's not really death, but he was like bleeding and shit.
Well, and he used to do like some innovative, like wacky shit.
Yeah. He still does to this day.
Dude, the match that he had was pretty dope.
Well, and I saw a tweet too that he said like, "Hey, all you old cats who grew up coming up with me, you know, we got two options. We can either complain and be bitter, or we can adapt and be awesome and survive." And it really does appear that as if that's what Crowbar is doing.
Yeah, I agree
He
with
was
that.
adapting to his time, and it was like, I think the match was a very storytelling way of saying, I'm with the times, I'm okay to change, and let's move forward.
But he lost.
He lost, but he didn't necessarily have to get as hardcore as the other matches were to fight in the chains. Like it was like an old school like brawl. Like it was like a bar fight, right? Would you say, Brian?
I agree with that.
Like they just went at it. It was just chops.
It was awesome to see Crowbar in the chains. Just like him being an outlaw boy, and like chilling with him at Crowbar, chilling with Crowbar at Crowbar, and seeing him in the chains made me excited.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he's such a nice guy. And even the matches that he does at Outlaw are great. So I can imagine that he would have had a great match at the chains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was like because like he was like running spots, and it was like he usually hits the ropes when he gets ready to do this elbow, and it's like, oh wait, there's no rope. I gotta figure it out now. So that was like, it was cool to see like an outsider in, and it's like, oh wow, this guy's never been in here. How's he gonna adapt? So and he fed to that.
Did he do like? Was there a spot where like Bobby Beverly Irish whips him, and like instead of turning to hit the ropes, he stops and like looks at the chains, like almost as if he's in a barbed wire ropes match.
Right.
And he touches the chains, and he's like, "Oh, I'm in a different environment here." Yeah, because he's the man. He's a storyteller.
Exactly, and that's what I appreciate. It's like wrestling now. I think a lot of people get caught up in the whole just let's run these spots and let's pop this crowd, you know. And it's like it's cool, it's great. That's what you want. That's what gives you the energy. But you got to remember that you're out there to tell a story. From when the bell rings to when that bell ends, you're flipping pages. And if what's on those pages don't make sense, nobody's going to really like it. And he's still able to deliver in that caliber of an event, I guess you could say. Like he's just not going out there to wrestle a singles match. He's jumping into a new field, but at the same time, he's keeping his eyes open, his ears open, and he's adapting. He's not saying, no, I can't do that. It's like, okay, I can do that, but I'll give my little twist on it. And you know what? It worked. It was very enjoyable. Hope to see him back in the chains again.
That's awesome. I got all the love for Crowbar in my heart. Side note.
Ran him, Pat. You remember when we ran down on him, like before he left?
Oh,
Big Orange? We literally, Brian, we ran after him to tell him that I was like, yo, you're the man.
Yeah, we love you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
See, I think he gets it. I think that Crowbar's been around the block a few times enough to know that, like, I'm a friend. I'm not an enemy.
Yeah, man.
Even if I say champion instead of champion.
Champion is funny.
Because I'm Regal. I'm fucking William Regal out here.
You know who else made their debut in the chains?
Who?
A Brooklyn boy, Mr. Lowlife Louie himself.
Lowlife Louie.
Was that on Friday?
That was Friday.
The Vortex was his debut.
Is that him versus Danny?
That was Danny DeMonto.
On Friday.
Yep.
Which included the spot of the year, which is Lowlife Louie Jr. versus Mittens, circling each other at least 8 times.
So fucking funny, dude.
And then they ran into each other.
They ran into
they ran into each other, but then they both the other guys both ducked and they hit their opposing fathers.
Right. Mittens hit Danny and
I was waiting,
Junior hit Louie.
Mittens to actually, wrestle. I thought it was gonna happen. I thought it was like, wow,
it's gonna happen.
Mittens is gonna have 2 minutes. and I thought it was gonna happen. It was like, wow, guess what? It's not the time for that yet. It will happen,
It's gonna happen.
but not
Did you
yet.
see that Junior is actually wrestling a tag match with Low Life Louie
I didn't
at,
see that.
at H2O?
When's this?
I think it's at the Shards the day after Christmas.
Wow.
When Fremont's wrestling Sword
Everybody to run shows New Year's Day and like Christmas week now.
I love it.
Yeah, man, it's
Well, you
dope.
know, I was listening to Cornette, and Cornette said that every year back in the day, like Christmas Day used to be like the biggest day for wrestling.
Right.
And now I guess like the WWE house show at Madison Square Garden on like the 27th, 28th, I guess that like that's like a big deal because that's like always
they do a
around.
football show on Christmas and shit, like
So-
the Rose Bowl or something.
There's no, that's New Year's Day NHL where they play in a baseball
Right,
stadium.
right. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yo, so I got to tell you, we're talking about mittens. I got to read this. I got to read this because I don't know why I want to read this. I just got to read this. All right. And we'll get your reactions. You ready? Mike McNicholas on Facebook. Going into this weekend was not easy at all. One thing I knew going into it was I had to step up and be a leader and used everything Ryan something has taught me and put it to the test so Danny DeMonto can have any show ran as smoothly as possible. And huge thank you to everybody who stepped up alongside me to make sure the show went smooth. Aaron something and Jason something 100% are my right hands when it comes to ring crew and are some of the hardest workers when it comes to any NHB show. Huge thanks to John Hammer and Andy D, the Bocce Boys, for really stepping it up with the fuckery and making the weapons set up as smooth as can be. Lastly, I want to thank Charles Something and his right-hand man, Brandon Tennis, for everything they do, from bringing the ring to running sound and lighting. And one thing about this team, too, is that we're all in this shit together, and we'll keep on going till the wheels fall off. P.S. Josh Something, thanks for sweeping fast alongside me, asshole. And then the comment underneath.
Dude, he's awesome, man.
Danny DeManto comment underneath. Proud of your leadership this weekend.
Dude, the kid fucking works. Dude,
I'll be honest, Pat. The kid. I don't even want to call him a freaking kid because he's like he legit is out there busting his ass. He's there early. Like I had to get there at 5:30 to do Casey Kirk's autograph. When I get there, homeboy's running back and forth, and I'm like,
yeah, where to and fro though? Does he even know where he's running from or to?
To and from to bring things to there from there, but he's getting it done.
He's like a hospitality guy.
Well, you know what? Listen, clap it up because you know his leadership.
Dude, it's not. I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy to fucking be a hospitality person for these.
He's their main weapon maker.
Listen,
he makes their stuff.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, Bocce Boys supplied all of the weapons for that show, and like I didn't like. That's kind of crazy. It's like not cheap to fucking.
Yeah.
There was hundreds of tubes, hundreds of light tubes.
Yeah, that is
like
true.
Metal fucking shit.
You know what? Oh man, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I read that because I just wanted to shit on it.
No, I know. I could tell.
But
I loved
Brian and Sean. You guys are such good fans.
Dude, without those people, the show would be shit. And if you haven't noticed, the quality of production in ICW has looked better. I don't know what it is, but like the camera angles.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
And like the lights,
it's probably mittens. It's probably mittens.
The sound, I would say the sound is definitely the shittiest part inside the arena, like Larry's mic and like whenever they do promos. But like the commentators sound good, the lighting is good, and
Listen,
the cameras.
I was there for the XPW show. The XPW show's production had absolutely shit.
Now, what was the difference? They had no direction. They didn't have mittens.
Nah, dude, I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like you see the big difference. And like being there,
it's not even just having a team like Mittens and like someone that's on your team that gives a fucking shit if it looks good or not.
You want something to run smoothly, you get people that care about it. And Mittens is somebody that really like gives a fuck about what he's doing.
The whole team, the whole squad that they have.
You know what? Listen, I'm going to back off And I'm going to defer to y'all that, okay, hey, listen, Mittens, maybe I'm just personally a little bitter that he has, like, surpassed me on the outlaw wrestling food chain.
No.
So
never,
maybe I'm just hating on him a little bit. But you know what? I'm going to defer. I'm going to agree with y'all because there is something else that I have up my sleeve to hate on. So let's move on to Saturday.
The ICW show?
The ICW show that Sean was in attendance for.
Right.
Now, this one was at the Hart Ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sean, walk me through your live experience. You said you showed up early to do the Casey Catal blood print.
Yeah, so Casey's it wasn't a blood print. It was just like a blood card. She had a regular base card. She had her auto card. One of the cards, she's dripping blood. Looked dope. Professional as hell. Great autograph.
Hold on, stop right there. I love this comment. Adam, Mittens really cares. About what? I have no idea. All right, I'm sorry. Continue, Sean. Now, the blood print card, do they take the actual cards and smack it on their bloody heads?
So we haven't done a blood card yet, and when we do, I will record it so you can see.
I thought you did one for Joey Janela.
That's getting done next week at show. So next week.
Yeah, I would say a blood print would be him bleeding from his head and taking his little finger and sticking it like this and putting his little thumb on it.
No, but you could get a blood print kind of like holographic card. It's like it doesn't have actually any DNA on it, but it's like the bloody variant of their card.
Gotcha.
But now, but there is going to be like a level 3 blood print with actual blood.
Yes.
Okay.
So that gets done at the Showboat. The New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Figure it out next week. I know Matt Treatmont is getting done this coming Monday, the 26th. I won't be there.
Now, did you record that Matt Tremont promo where he was talking about not one but two cards? Did you record that?
Yeah.
Matt Tremont's a good promo.
He's the man.
The best, dude.
Now, did you go up to him and be like, "Hi, I'm Sean with Ringside Collectibles, whatever the Pro Wrestling Junkie"?
No, because I think I've gone up to him at so many shows now that it's like when he sees me, he's like, "Oh, the card guy's here."
Oh, but now he doesn't think of you as a bully, obviously.
And then he
Oh, can I interrupt and just give you my my results here?
Oh, let's go. Hold on. Stop everything. COVID results.
COVID.
Oh, that T line looks a little filled out.
It's a little filled out.
You got like half COVID, dude.
I'm gonna tell you, it's not as dark as
you got
my
the half
first
COVID.
home test. Yeah, it was like really dark the first time. It's less dark now.
All right, so keep going, Sean. I'm sorry, Brian. Hey, congratulations. You're half done with COVID, bro. What? It's a Christmas miracle. It's a Hanukkah miracle.
A Festivus miracle. So yeah, I went up to him. I was like, "Hey, we got your cards in. We need to start promoting more. Is it possible for you to do a little promo for me?" He was like, "Absolutely, man. Whip that camera out." So I said, "Whoosh," and he just did that for me literally in like a minute. And then I went on my way. He was like oozing blood from his head. It was wild.
Matt Tremont, probably the worst head in all professional wrestling.
He has my favorite head, dude.
You know who's catching up with him is John Wayne Murdoch. First of all, John Wayne Murdoch has 2 Matt Tremont foreheads as elbows. But his head is catching up too.
That's so funny.
You said his elbow looks like a head?
Like Matt Tremont's head.
John Wayne Murdoch has 2 elbows that look like Matt Tremont's forehead.
Wow.
Am I wrong? Stop me if I'm wrong.
100% right. I honestly, dude, John Wayne Murdoch coming out to Schlack's music was fucking golden shit.
Why? It was like a swerve. It was like a heel swerve.
Right. That's what John Wayne Murdoch has been doing. Last time he came out to Atticus Coger's music. Whose music did he come out to last time he played?
Ooh.
But whoever it was, he's just he plays someone's music that's like controversial.
Hold on, stop everything. Yeah, Larry, I have no doubt that Mittens was sweating setting up the ring. Have you seen the way he walks? That's a very exhausting way to walk, dude. A normal person could walk that way and not sweat, but when you're on your toes that way, it's like you're doing like fucking crunches the whole time.
Imagine doing that and putting together a ring.
Listen, you know what I think should just... Let's just make it happen. I think we should just have Pat versus Mittens.
Charity boxing, dude. Yo, I had this idea years ago. I want to get all the wrestling super fans together and do a charity Golden Glove boxing. Like Mittens versus Robert Lottie. who, by the way, wished me happy birthday last week, so I've made it.
He's the man, Robert.
Mittens, for all his fucking Facebook bullshit, he didn't wish me happy birthday.
You guys hit each other in the head with tubes.
Let's get to the main event of Saturday.
Casey Kirk, the champion, the American Deathmatch champion, taking on her husband, Brandon Kirk.
All right, listen.
I told you it was going to happen, Sean.
I don't want to.
Told you it was time.
I don't want to be negative.
What?
Sean, you were there live. I want you to give me your take on the Brandon Kirk, Casey Kirk. Brian, you watched it from home. I want your take after that.
Got it.
And then, listen. Maybe we'll just end the show after that because I don't want to say what I feel about what I saw. But go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
I thought you didn't see anything.
Oh, I saw enough.
What did you see, though? I want to know what you see before I give my opinion.
Okay, so what I saw is exactly what I expected to see, which was a husband and wife fighting over the richest prize in the game, feeling so many emotions, feeling so much conflict. And I saw many clips of the finish, of the start. I saw all the clips I needed to see. And, Brandon Kirk, first of all, his wife just kind of dressed like Dollar General Riho, like a New Jersey Riho, like a doily. Probably an outfit that was bought for and tailored by RJ City, or whatever the hell. But anyway.
Red shoes.
So I saw Brandon Kirk doing the Matt Tremont. Yeah, sorry. We could cut that out. Because the problem is I keep calling that kid RJ City, dude.
Are you talking about Red Shoes Media?
Dude.
Yes, you're talking about him.
All right, just moving.
So anyway, the Matt Tremont light tube hit, and I call it the boop. You know what I'm talking about?
The little boop
Boop. Boop.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like, everybody thinks they're fucking Mick Foley in the I Quit match, dude. Everybody thinks that they're working on some kind of hyper-emotional, deeply fucking sacrificial level. But when in fact, everybody thinks they're the New York Lottery, but in fact, they are just scratch-off tickets. You know what I'm saying, dude? And just like the scene of her in the defensive position with Brandon Kirk, using the facials, using the wrestling facials to be like, I don't want to hurt you, but I will for the richest prize in the game.
The kiss
Boop!
at the end.
Boop.
Yeah.
Boop. Yeah, and
I thought it was good.
I said, why go so easy on those light tube hits if the last move of the match is going to be you trying to paralyze your wife? Why not swing those tubes a little harder?
Psycho Driver is awesome.
Yo, and I just want to say, I saw some comments. I'm not going to say who said what in our group chat. I'm not going to say who said what online for me to view. But I'm just going to make a blanket statement that I want you guys to take it away. Because you guys are the good wrestling fans. You guys are the good wrestling fans. We need to hear from you guys, not me. But I'm just going to say this. If you shed one single salty tear while watching Casey Kirk versus Brandon Kirk, I have one simple message for you. Get a life.
Who shed a tear?
Well,
Get
dude, I'm gonna
a
tell you
life.
right now,
Because you know what? Hey, you know what? Oh, Casey Kirk versus Brandon Kirk. It was so emotional. Yeah? Have you ever watched a movie? Go watch a movie.
Me and you both.
How about you just go watch a TV show?
Dude, I feel what you're saying because this match did not make me shed a man tear. Me and you both we shared man tears at the Ricky Shane Page Matt
because
Tremont
you know what,
match.
Brian? There are certain moments in wrestling. Wrestling is often dumb. Wrestling is often a B movie. But every so often there is a moment in wrestling that does make you shed a man tear, a salty single emotional tear.
Facts.
And when it comes to like person, place, and context Matt Tremont in his final match in his own building retiring, which, by the way, I take back those tears because it was all a work to make me buy a ticket for that night.
He Terry funked you.
Dude, the best
He Terry fucking funked me, dude.
That makes him the best
You know what?
worker in
And
the
dude,
world.
I'm not upset about getting Terry funked, because if you could set the stage properly and have me with my eyes shrink wrapped in tears, ready to bawl based on the situation that you have set up, then I'm happy to do it. Even if you're going to retire and then come out of retirement, I'm happy to cry man tears for you. But Casey Kirk and Brandon Kirk bopping each other over the head with light tubes ain't it, dude. And you know what? Hey, you want drama? Just watch a movie. Watch a TV show. Hey, you ever seen a good TV show? Dude, you ever read a book?
Well, I will say,
dude.
I will say the whole story was botched because Cruel wasn't there. So,
Yeah,
like,
the
whole entire story didn't really make any sense because she's wearing the wedding dress. Like, that whole thing was because of Cruel.
Because Cruel was like the other man.
Exactly, but they didn't. He's injured. They didn't even.
hurt, so it didn't,
He's hurt, so they didn't even like mention it, and they were still trying to play the thing. So it was like a failed. It was a failed story.
You thought that, Brian, for real? Or are you just appeasing me?
No. I was waiting to say it because that was the one thing about the match that I really thought was missing was the whole Cruel aspect. It destroyed everything they built. Like that was what they were doing. It was like the whole Kane thing. They were doing whatever it was. It was the demon and the girl having a thing. You know, it was very strange that they just totally nixed it. I mean, he was injured, so they had no choice, but they had no other like backup plan, so they just like went with what they did. It was lackluster to me.
Okay, so hear me out. The last time we see them, you have that whole it's not Kirk, it's Catal. And she leaves with Cruel. They walk out together, right? Now they have the whole scene where Brandon has the knife to his neck and he's about to kill him. What happens? Cruel's gone.
Right, Cruel's gone.
Cruel's gone. Now what we have is Casey versus Brandon for the title.
So then what was the point of the wedding dress? Just to make Brandon, it was very strange. It was like bad story. It was bad storytelling, I thought.
Well, I think it's just a patience thing. I think when Cruel comes back, it'll be worth the wait because now you have an angry giant.
Oh, so you think it's going to be like Cruel will intervene and get Casey a match back, or maybe Cruel will win?
I think the next time we see Cruel, it's going to be some sort of a kidnap situation where he takes Casey. Now you want her? Come get her. What's more, the title you've never had, that you've always wanted, that we just prove that you can have, or your beautiful wife.
Oh, that sounds so lame.
They're telling a story. And that's the thing, though. If you follow the story and you see it, if you expect too much, then you're going to be upset.
But she's all back with Brandon at the end of that match.
Exactly. And what happens? Back comes the monster who's upset and takes her or either beats the hell out of her. It's going to happen.
See, I almost think that not even like I almost feel like if you're going to do Casey versus Brandon, why even involve Cruel? You know, you could have done Casey versus Brandon without involving Cruel at all. And then you could have entered
it was I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine. You could have entered Cruel into the fray later.
Yeah. But I think now we get we saw a side of Cruel that was very much like Kane and Tori.
Oh my God.
But think of it, that's where people get their ideas from, or from other ideas and from other stories. So you piggyback and you make it your own. That's what's so cool about wrestling, is that you make it your own.
Right, it's never been done in the deathmatch world either, that kind of story.
But it's you got to try these things out. How are you gonna know if you don't try? You know,
I honestly,
that's not an excuse.
I was enjoying the whole Cruel aspect too.
I don't think it's over, and I think you're gonna enjoy it.
But that was what was missing from this match. Like the whole match was, I thought I was like waiting for Cruel, and then Cruel never came, and it was like that whole storyline was missing from the match.
So Pat, basically what happened was the match begins, Cruel's music hits, Brandon looks at the entranceway, and Crew obviously doesn't show up. Casey hits him with a roll up. 1-2 kick out. They stare at each other. She goes to run up the chains. He grabs her down. She smacks him, and now we got a match. Match ends. She gets fucking plummeted through a door.
Insane.
She sends him off with a, "We know you could do it. I know you could do it. And now I'm married to the champ." Right? So now, where does that leave Cruel? Cruel was used. Cruel was abused. And this is all in his mind. So ICW right now, from what I'm watching, are doing stories. And then they're doing as many shows as they can in order to keep their fans engaged. And like the same way they're doing their sales right now. They're keeping fan engagement, giving them
Cruel was used. Just like Mittens.
Yeah, man, he's used. He was abused by a girl that he liked. And now what's going to happen is when he comes back, he's going to beat the holy hell out of her or her man. Or he's going to kidnap her. And guess what? You're going to want to know what happened.
I kind of think I agree with the boy.
All right, fine.
But
so I guess I'll defer.
I did forget that she did use Cruel's music, but I still think that it was poorly executed.
I see it just symbolic in a way of her showing
she was too easily back in Brandon Kirk's arms. It was like very, very poor.
So now the way I see it is she used Cruel to bring out whatever in Brandon she knew was there.
So the whole thing was a whole ploy to get Brandon on top.
Exactly. To get him to be where he should be because she knew he had it in him. And the only way she could do that is if she did it this way. And she did it. So now we're here. And now we wait for Cruel.
I just hate that cocaine has so much fentanyl in it that like I can't do any anymore.
See Sabu's video.
Oh
what happened with Sabu? I saw you guys were texting me.
Dude, I sent you the video.
I didn't want to watch it. I thought it was
He's living his best life.
He got a great payday from the ECW reunion show.
Right.
And yeah, he went on freaking Instagram. He had a nice little rolling tray and it was just full of like lines.
There was one huge line. His unsteady cocaine hand was filming while like the Motley Crue was playing.
It was wild, bro. I was like, yo.
Damn.
It's fucking wired, dude.
That's just the worst because like I wanna like do cocaine with Sabu, but I would just be worried about the fentanyl.
Sabu's not worried, let me tell you right now.
He's not worried.
No, he's not.
He survived his hip exploding.
He survived. He got shot in the face as a child. Did you know that?
No.
Did you read his book ever?
No, you apparently did. So
read the book because he was shot in his fucking head as a kid.
Ooh.
By fucking somebody in the hood.
Probably the Sheik, probably.
Dude, a crazy book. You should definitely read the book. It's a quality book.
I'm going to read your family's book first before I pick up Sabu's.
Yes, I'm going to have that on the next show.
Yo, let's quickly, last 15 minutes, let's go through the regular wrestling feds. You guys were both texting me last night saying that Monday Night Raw was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really think so.
I thought it was cool.
How or why was it awesome? Sean, you said it was awesome. What was your favorite part of it?
The fact that the Usos kept popping up every so often just to beat up whoever was on camera. And it was like, wow, this is like wrestling that I enjoy watching when I was a kid.
Like NWO shit.
Yeah, it's like NWO. It's like Austin. It's like you revisit the story that you want to get over for that night.
Yeah, they were basically beating up the roster throughout the night.
Yeah, and it's like
taking over the show.
Like they open with Roman, and it's like we're on Kevin Owens' show. And it's like, all right, we're here to set a name for ourselves because they're the bloodline. So what they do, every chance they got, they went and they beat people up. They beat up AJ. They beat up Gallows and Anderson. Sammy wound up fighting AJ. When's the last time you saw that happen? It was good. Adam Pearce is still involved with everything. I think he's hilarious. I think he's great for TV.
He's definitely funny.
It's just awesome TV time. There was a ladder match on Raw with Miz and Dexter Lumis. It wasn't great. There was a table used, but what was this guy? What's this guy's name?
Nick Cannon is hilarious.
Jonah Reeves. That he went to Impact. Just Jonah Reeves, Bronson Reed.
Oh, Bronson Reed, right?
Bronson Reed. He made his return back last night.
He helped the Miz, right?
Miz. Yeah, dude, it's good times. It's good times.
What did you think of Uncle Howdy?
Oh,
Um,
Jesus Christ.
So, all right. So you mentioned Madison Square Garden earlier, Pat, and how the holiday shows are they're a yearly thing, and it's a big thing for wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, we might need a El Santa.
So next
We
week
might need a La Santa for the holiday show. You know, Blvd Bullies and Santa have had a good working relationship. I think we might need 2 drunk Santas.
Santa Claus.
I think maybe one Santa Claus and
Santa
one
Claus?
Jewish Santa. And
So-
maybe I just film it. And
Hebrew
maybe
Santa?
maybe at this holiday show there's 2 drunk Santas.
Santa Claus.
Just throwing it out there. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
So next week they announced yesterday on Raw that Raw is going to be a culmination of not a culmination, just just an episode of the greatest,
The best of. It's the best of.
Raw. So with that being said,
So what? It's gonna be like a highlight show. They're
going to be a highlight show,
like
It's
Best
gonna
of
be-
Raw 2022, and they're just off that day.
I'm assuming they're all for their pre-taping Raw, but what I do know is that Bray Wyatt will be in the Garden, and usually when they bring somebody to the Garden, it's to try something out to see how New York City puts them over or how they react to it. So Uncle Howdy will be there, and so will Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt will be in action.
All right.
Kind of making me tired
Final
now.
question for you, Brian, because you have been on the Bray Wyatt gravy train from the beginning, and you will never leave it. Who is Uncle Howdy?
You know, I'm hoping that it's still just like Bray Wyatt's mind, and now we're all just a part of it.
Well, somebody appeared on SmackDown.
I know, but it's still just somebody in a mask.
Yo, you ready for this? I
don't think that they're ever going to be unmasked. I think that's just going to be like an entity.
Nah,
that
I
exists.
think I figured it out, dude. I just now figured it out. Uncle
What?
Howdy is L.A. Knight.
What? That's not even possible.
Or is it?
No, because LA Knight was in the ring at the same time as
So
him.
was Bray Wyatt.
I know, but if
So you're presenting this idea that, Bray Wyatt was in the ring and Uncle Howdy was on the ramp, but it could still be Bray Wyatt up there.
it's not Bray Wyatt. It's an entity of Bray Wyatt's mind.
Yeah,
as in
played by L.A. Knight.
No, but it's like the Funhouse characters.
I mean, I think
Like,
the
I don't
most
think they're
logical
gonna act-
solution is
I don't
that.
think he's going to be unmasked ever.
Well, and the most logical solution is that it's like Bo Dallas or something. I still am holding
He's
on to
fat.
that.
You think he's fat now, Bo Dallas?
I don't know, but then and honestly, the stupidest fucking thing that I saw all week in wrestling was when Alexa Bliss hugged Bianca Belair, but then got her into the what's the finishing move called?
Sister
Abigail.
So did you see this?
Yeah.
So they hugged, and then instantly. So Alexa Bliss is 120 pounds at most. Bianca Belair is probably like 185. She's probably closer to my fucking size and weight. And out of a hug, took her into like a dipping position to put her in this move.
She has superhuman black magic strength.
Yeah, and then they both woke up confused, like it was a fugue sting. It was so dumb.
Vase last night.
What happened?
She cracked a glass vase over her head on Raw last night.
Who did?
Right,
Alexa
right.
Bliss?
Yeah, it's a Bianca.
Oh, she is the worst, dude.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're teasing this Bray stuff with Alexa Bliss, it's like, nah, because new
They're
year, new
reverting
me.
back.
We don't need Alexa Bliss teased in this.
It's very strange. I'm kind of getting over it too, honestly.
And
I
Brian,
liked
you were
it
their
when he
biggest.
first
You were
came.
their biggest supporter.
I was with it, dude. He was coming back doing those awesome promos, like the real shit, and now it's just like going back. They're like reverting backwards.
Yo, could you imagine if you met a friend in the street who you haven't seen in a while, and you hugged them, and the smaller of the two of you tried to put you into Sister Abigail before you even got to the dip? You'd be like, "What the fuck?
No,
What the hell's going on here?"
Not if they had black magic wizard
Not if
power.
they had exorcism strength,
Right.
Black magic wizard power. That's what we're gonna call it from now on.
dude.
Black magic
No,
wizard
fuck.
power.
Brian, I'm a little bit happy to hear you say that you're kind of getting over it a little bit, Because I think that supports my theory that, like, I don't think they knew what to do with him.
He should have had that match should have happened at Survivor Series, and Bray Wyatt should have been wrestling now.
So give me a prediction. Like, what's the future of Bray Wyatt? What does it hold?
I don't even know. They're gonna wrestle maybe at Royal Rumble. Like that's gonna be the match. Wyatt and LA Knight.
Supposedly that's the match. It's
There's still such a ways. There's still like wait, is it the beginning of January is the Royal Rumble?
Well, and that's the thing that's kind of annoying to me. It's like the obvious next step in the feud is a match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight in one way or the other. Whether Uncle Howdy just comes out to the ramp or whether he's involved. The next stage in this story is LA versus Bray Wyatt. But I think that even after that match, nothing is really clear still.
Yeah, there's no clear
Unless Uncle
reason.
Howdy takes over Maximum Male Models. Which could be a thing.
That's true.
Little Speedo Howdy.
Sean, what do you think? What's the future hold for Bray Wyatt?
I don't know. I think they're gonna test this out. They're gonna see whatever happens at the Rumble is where they bring Howdy to. I think that's when we're gonna see this guy in the ring.
I think it might be like a cinematic match. I don't even know what'll be in the ring.
See, but Brian, that would make me excited. After all this, they actually transitioned it into a cinematic match, because at the time of pandemic, cinematic matches, they were kind of like, I was kind of sick of them.
Dude, I loved me a good cinematic.
But that's the thing. It's like it wasn't special at the time because it was just the way to do things.
It felt forced because they had no other choice.
So now with live crowds, if Bray Wyatt's shit was all, oh my God, sorry, I'm so gassy.
A little gassy boy. Let it
might
out.
be Uncle Howdy deep in my lower intestine.
And your plumes.
But I would like the idea of Bray Wyatt being like the exclusive cinematic match guy, like in a post-pandemic world. I think that would give it a little juice.
Yeah, but fucking get to it. Chop, chop, man. It's been so long since he's been back. He hasn't done anything besides give promos.
All right, and last thing, WWE will do final thoughts. One thing I'm very, very excited for is John Cena and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. I think that we're starting down the path of the storyline that we want to see. And you want to talk about a single tear? Sami Zayn is going to be the guy that makes me cry a single tear. It's not fucking Casey Catal. All right? It's not boop, boop. You're my wife. Boop. My wife. Boop. No, it's not that. That's fucking bullshit. That's stupid. If you like that, if you shed a tear during that, go watch a fucking, an insurance commercial make you feel more fucking emotions than Casey Catal, Brandon Kirk. But a Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, properly done turn, reuniting, overcoming the demons. Oh my God, dude! My eyes are ready.
It's gonna be a magical moment.
And you know what? Who better than John freaking Cena to usher that moment in?
He's gonna usher it in. Do you think it's gonna happen at that show?
Yo, listen. I would sign up for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn winning the tag titles, but what I really want is Sami Zayn dethroning Roman.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
I want that so badly.
Get ready for Sami Zayn to win the Rumble.
You think so?
Oh, you think
over Cody? Over Cody.
Ooh, well, you do have Cody on the horizon. See, I think that Cody is not really benefiting from the new change of regime. I mean, we'll see how it plays out when he comes back with the new creative directors. But I don't think that Cody is anywhere near as highly regarded as he was when he first came around.
I mean, that's kind of disappointing because that whole thing that he did was like legendary shit. He fought through the injury and like went out as a hero.
Yo, that's got to be a candidate for match of the year is the Hell in the Cell with the torn bicep, right?
Yeah, I would say 100%. Has to. There would be a hypocrisy if it wasn't.
Yeah, that was a wild batch. He was really hurt too. That was the crazy thing.
Dude, it was brutal injury.
So, it's funny because I've been thinking about WWE without factoring back in Cody Rhodes. all I care about is Sami Zayn's like betrayal and an inevitable like return. Will it happen on December 30th in this tag match, or will the seeds just continue to be planted?
They've been planting for a while now. There's always like they're always like hugging, but like doing like a look behind the hug. There's always like a hint at a
well, and Sami Zayn is like, oh, I'm his only friend. He used to be. I used to be his only friend.
Yeah, they give him the fucking death.
That's
look.
what I'm saying. Larry in the chat, very astute. Cody broke the throne, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he might not be coming back to a big push. He might be coming back to some like.
Yeah, but who's to say that Triple H didn't love that? Who like that was like great shit when Cody Rhodes did that.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. If it was a female, then Triple H would be running to their defense. It's just a normal white guy broke Triple H's throne. Like, Triple H has no stockholders or no Disney Plus pressuring him to put a person of color or a female over. It's like, oh, Cody Rhodes is just a white guy who disrespected me. I could sink my teeth into fucking burying him. You know? So I don't know. I'm a little worried. Right. I'm a little worried for Cody's future.
Me a little worried.
Sean, what do you think?
I think, again, I think he's going to return at the Royal Rumble. I think it'll be Cody Rhodes returns at the Royal Rumble. It's not going to be a surprise. And on his way to the ring, you know how they do little cameos at the Rumble because you're gearing towards one. You'll see it, Triple H with his back turns, Cody walking. They look at each other. They give the nod because they have to make reference to the fact that there is that there, and they have to move past it. I think Triple H is in high regard of Cody Rhodes. I think it's not a matter of if. I think it's a matter of when. And that when is
do you think that the when is this Royal Rumble and this year at Survivor Series? This Royal Rumble and this year at WrestleMania? Or you think they put Cody on the back burner, make him wait a year or 6 months?
Yeah, I think he comes back to the same momentum and pace as he was going when he first came, which is building from the bottom all the way up so that when it does happen, it's magical.
Well, speaking of came, let's transition to AEW for Winter is Coming. CUM. Did you guys watch this?
No, it stinks.
That was Ricky Starks and MJF, wasn't that?
It was Ricky Starks, MJF was the main event, but then you also had some other stuff. You had one of the best of 7 Young Bucks title matches.
The 37th match.
Well, and then they announced that the next one's going to be a ladder. No. The next one's going to be no DQ.
Right.
And then the one after that's going to be a ladder. And then the 7th one is going to be something. I don't even remember what they said. Do you guys care about this at all?
The tomorrow is the no holds barred match, I think it is, right?
It's the no DQ match, right?
Yeah, they're doing no DQ.
I'm over it.
Yeah, me too. And they tried to do something a little different. They had like the one guy hurt his ankle. One of the Young Bucks hurt his ankle and like left, but then he like came back, which they've already done in AEW like 3 or 4 times, where the one tag team partner gets hurt and leaves, comes back. Dude, it's like they have a fishbowl of ideas and they just keep recycling.
Yeah.
Then he got hit in the ankle with the ring hammer. So now it's like a no DQ match. Ring hammers are allowed. And it's so funny. How are all of the matches that they've had are no DQ matches? You know what I mean? Like, it's a tag team match that nobody cares about the tags. Nobody cares about count out. And every time they've used the hammer and they haven't caught the hammer. So how is this one? Hammer's legal. It's like, who cares, dude? Who cares?
Not me.
Excited to see the turn of Pac on the what do you call it? The Lucha Bros.
Yo, I just think that much like Casey Catala and Brandon Kirk, the people at AEW think that they are writing stories to shed tears, but they are in fact writing stories to shed all the wrong types of tears, which is like, why did I waste my life liking wrestling?
At least the Casey Catala and Brandon Kirk match was at least fucking dope. They fucking it was at least fun. Like, AEW is not even like fun.
Yeah, it was dope that like everybody watching was on dope.
Sean was sober.
I was sober.
Ridiculous.
What are you talking about?
So they had the best of 7, and they announced a whole bunch of shit. Don't care about that. What about the Jericho Action Andretti 1, 2, 3 Kid ripoff? Do you guys see this?
I thought it was dope.
You thought it was dope?
I thought it was dope.
We were talking to Larry about it. That's that's Larry, like one of Larry's
He's the
someone that Larry likes.
He's the champion at MCW.
MCW, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then you know what? I'll be a little easier on it. But I'll put it this way. Action Andretti isn't the problem. The problem is that everybody in the wrestling community thinks that it was 1, 2, 3 Kid versus Razor, but it wasn't. The two best jobber storylines ever.
Cena Angle.
Well, it was 1, 2, 3 Kid versus Razor, Barry Horowitz, and then maybe you get Cena coming out in the generic tights. But the point of 1, 2, 3 Kid is that you saw him a few weeks leading up to it. Like 1, 2, 3 Kid got crushed.
He's the MCW champion. He's like a that's like within
well, that's
the
the thing.
fan base,
That's
like
the problem,
guy.
dude. Like whoever Jericho was going to put over should have been a guy that you saw as a jobber. Maybe he loses to Wardlow. Maybe, give him 2 or 3 jobber assignments. Let him get over with a little bit of personality. And then once one of these jobbers has a little bit of momentum, has a little bit of the fans' imaginations, then have him pull a fucking thing over Chris Jericho. It's like it seems like Chris Jericho was just like,
I agree with that.
Oh, everybody thinks that I don't give back. Well, who's this guy? It's like he was just in catering. Like, this guy. This guy's the guy.
Those is a win record, 0-5.
Right. So, the thing about 1, 2, 3 Kid is that 1, 2, 3 Kid was losing on Raw. 1, 2, 3 Kid was like a Brooklyn Brawler type. He was a Barry Horowitz type. It was a jobber that you kind of knew. And then that jobber...
Said that he was on Dark a few times.
And it's like, whatever. I don't know what time. It was like 8:05 on Monday Night Raw. Another jobber about to lose to Razor Ramon because you've seen the jobber lose a bunch of times on TV. See, that's the thing. WWE had 3 jobbers. AEW is full of jobbers. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like 1, 2, 3 Kid was the most popular jobber at the time, and they saw potential in him. So then they're like, okay, this is the trigger pulling moment to get this guy into a babyface regular role. Whereas this guy Action Andrade, listen, Larry Legend likes him, then he's all right by me. But I'm just saying, in the context of AEW television, he's just a guy. You know what I mean?
Right. No,
I don't know.
I know what you're saying.
So I think there was they were going through the motion, much like all the things we watch today. They were going through, it's an old idea that was good and they want to remake it and they think that they are going to honor that idea, but they in fact abort it and bastardize it. And it's really just like a shell of the original idea. And I think that's the exact way that I want to describe this Action Andrade thing. If he needed to have lost 4 or 5 matches on TV, Wardlow, Samoa Joe, even let the factory fucking destroy him. Let him be a jobber. Sorry, I just fucked up the camera. Anyway, what do you guys think about it? Sean, what do you think? Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Stop talking. I fucked up the audio. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, we're all fucked up. Oh, we fucked everything up, dude. Hold on. Hold on. What about now?
Good. Talk.
Oh, wow. That's even worse. We keep going. Give me your thoughts, Sean.
Well, listen, I think anytime a new kid comes on TV like that and makes a hot streak and wins clean like that, it's a great way to put them on TV. A chance. Let's see it.
Brian, what do you think?
I think I agree with you, Pat, that he should have been it's definitely not comparable to the 1-2-3 Kid, because this guy just he hasn't had losing matches in AEW. So Chris Jericho losing to him is just like, okay, he lost to this one random guy that's from somebody somewhere else, and it's just not very. It didn't feel that crazy to me.
Well, that's the thing, though, Brian, is that Larry said that he's been on Dark quite a few times, so he does have a win-loss record. Maybe this is one of their first attempts at showing how Dark elevates you onto Dynamite. No pun intended.
Right. I know what you mean, but I'm saying, but for someone that doesn't watch those Dark shows, the person that was on that Dynamite show is just some random guy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That falls on the company for not properly advertising
Facts.
the elevation and the growth of these guys on this show.
They didn't even, before the match, they could have played his fucking Dark matches on as a promo or whatever.
Exactly. But again, they also said that it was his debut on Dynamite.
Right.
So it's like, oh, okay, he's been elsewhere on AEW. He's been on Dark Elevation. He's been on Dark. Whatever he's been on, this is his first time on this show. So it's a way of them showing the progression in the company for somebody of his like. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. Pat, how do I sound? Do I sound like crap? What's going on, man?
You guys both sound great. The only problem is that I fucked up my own audio. So I'm hopping back and forth. By the way, if you are tuning in after the first hour, let me just tell you, thank you so much. Welcome to the holiday party. We got Brian in a fucking yarmulke. We got Sean in a fucking, Santa hat. And we are discussing all the inner workings of AEW Dynamite. The audio is completely fucked up. I just want to let you know, head over to BoulevardBullies.BigCartel.com and find some merch. Follow Outlaw Wrestling and meet us on January 12th, where, you know what? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I might just no call, no show. Let Sean take my place. But we'll figure that out another time. And you know what? I want to get both of your thoughts on the final AEW match of the evening. You know, we're past the 2 hours, so let's just bring it home with your opinions of Ricky Starks and MJF. Brian, you go first. Did you watch Ricky Starks MJF? Do you care? Do you want to know anything about it? And Sean, I want to hear about you after it.
I fell asleep. I didn't even get to watch the match, and I would like to know you guys' opinions about the match.
Well, to be quite honest, I thought it sucked. I thought it was very lackluster. I thought it was a horrible way to put a title match on TV. I think these specials, like the Winter is Coming and the Game of Thrones specials, I think they need to be scrapped immediately. And if they want to do anything like that, they should stick to YouTube. I don't think Ricky Starr should be anywhere near a title match yet. Not a big fan.
MJF won the match, right?
MJF won the match via low blow. You know what I'm saying? He pinned him, but I think that's just a way of them showing us how his reign is going to be a very JBL yearly reign, where it's him getting by, you know what I'm saying, by a thread, by just the little slightest thing helping him. And I think, honestly, next, moving forward, they need to find another competitor for him that's going to make it more enjoyable. I wasn't a fan of it.
Oh, I actually do. I actually remember waking up at the end and seeing Brian Danielson chase MJF.
MJF, yeah, like Danielson came out, and
I remember that.
This is where we're going with this. Like, clearly, they didn't want him. They didn't want the Ricky Starks to have that. That's like, okay, Ricky, go out there, show us what you got. You keep talking backstage. You want the shot. You want it. You got it. Go prove it. Guess what? He didn't. So that's where I sit with that.
What do you think, Pat?
I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. I thought the setup was worse than the match. I thought it was very, very stupid how they had Ricky Starks win the one tournament to be the number one contender and then inexplicably and randomly win the Battle Royal to have the ring. And now all of a sudden the ring and the title are one match and it's a winner-take-all thing. I think that Ricky Starks had this fire inside of him that was like, I deserve more than what you're giving me. I'm going to prove that I can hang with MJF. And I think that Ricky Starks did do that, but everything that happens in AEW is just the worst, and nothing bleeds into the next and nothing has any goddamn whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Brian, you goddamn beautiful Jewish man. Brian, I want to hear your final thoughts. Let's go, dude.
Sorry, my final thought would be shalom, and we'll see you next time here on Blvd Bullies vs. the World. Not in the studio next week. Sorry, but we'll be here. We'll be here in our respective homes.
Are we having a show or are we doing a best of?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
We are going to have a show. We're going to have a show, and we're going to do year-end awards. We're going to do year-end awards. As soon as this broadcast has completed, I'm going to start a group text of our year-end awards that we are going to be giving out. You know, we'll have a category, and we'll give all three of our opinions. If you are a fan of the Blvd Bullies, if you are watching, please, first of all, subscribe and like the video because we are dying out here. Also, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Hit up the blvdbullies.bigcartel, but make sure that you give us any categories that you want us to talk about. I don't think we're going to have like a clear-cut winner. We're just going to have categories, and we'll all discuss our categories. I think that's probably the best way to do it. But that's pretty much it. Final thoughts, guys. Give me your sign-off. Brian and Sean, let me hear you.
Love you, motherfuckers. Shalom.
Ringside Sean here. You know what time it is, baby. Happy holidays. If I don't see you, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, and my favorite, happy Festivus.
Yo, oh my God, are we doing it right? Yo, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry about the camera. I'm sorry about everything that's happened this long, you know. But just keep telling yourself, I love wrestling. I love wrestling. I love wrestling. Next week, end of year awards. I hope to see everybody back. Same bat time, same bat channel. And, yeah, I don't fucking know. Out of time. Bye-bye.
Oh, so Christ, may you burn in hell forever, 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 forever.
Boulevard.